Star Trek Beyond is the third entry into the rebooted Star Trek franchise. Directed by Justin Lin, it stars, well, pretty much everybody who's been in the last two films. The movie begins in year 3 of the Starship Enterprise's 5-year voyage, and Captain Kirk is having something of a crisis of faith. The crew of the Enterprise are given a rescue mission, and once they arrive at this alien planet, the ship is basically intercepted and completely destroyed. The ship crashes on the planet, and the crew of the Enterprise are split up. The man responsible for the attack is an alien named Kral, a particularly menacing guy who's after a device hidden aboard the Enterprise which he needs to complete a superweapon. So aside from needing to find a way to get off the planet, they also need to find a way to stop Kral and save the day. Now let me just state for the record, I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan. I don't hate Star Trek by any means, but my sci-fi allegiance has always definitely lied within another franchise. That being said, I have enjoyed the past 2 Star Trek films. I understand what a mammoth task it must have been trying to recreate something so iconic and have new actors playing these characters that people have loved for so many years, but I think they've done a really good job. So I went into this film with a pretty open mind. I didn't really have any expectations, that sort of thing, but I enjoyed it. It was a really good time at the cinema, and let's face it, that's why we go to the movies, is to be entertained, and I was definitely entertained by Star Trek Beyond. So on to some of the things I really liked about the movie. The chemistry between the actors was fantastic, as was the fact that they're all really owning their roles now. I mean, let's face it, like I said, it can't be too easy a task, because every time we think of Captain Kirk, we think of William Shatner, that kind of thing, and these guys are really owning the roles now. You know, they've really come into them and made them their own, and I have a lot of respect for that. I particularly love the relationship between Spock and Bones in this movie. When the crew of the Enterprise are split up, a lot of them are split up in pairs, and these two wind up stuck with each other. I really love the way that Karl Urban is playing this character. It is just so quintessential Bones McCoy. Aside from that, we were presented with some really stunning action sequences. The special effects were absolutely top notch. Hair and makeup was fantastic, particularly with a lot of the aliens and that sort of thing. Like, there was some really great makeup work. And the score by Michael Giacchino was amazing. There was some really powerful music in there. And this guy is actually doing some amazing scores lately and is becoming one of my favorite film composers. But for me, the standout of the film was unquestionably Sofia Boutella as Jayla. This woman's actually becoming quite a name in action movies. She was also the character Gazelle in last year's Kingsman: The Secret Service. She was the girl who had the blades on the bottom of her legs and was an absolute standout character in that film as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what she does in the future. And aside from being a truly kick-ass female, I mean, when we meet her character, it's in a fight scene where she takes down a whole bunch of guys, but I just love the way that Sophia played the character. She had this real motivation and purpose to what her character needed to do, but she was a nice person, but at the same time she was a little aggressive. And yeah, if there was ever a standalone film of just her character, I would happily pay to go see it. I also thought Idris Elba as the villain Kral was quite effective. He was the sort of villain though that throughout the film you kind of think he's a little bit two-dimensional until you find out some things about his past, I guess, about his backstory, and once you find out a little bit more about him, he becomes a more effective villain, so he did a really great job as well. As far as things that I didn't like about the movie, I guess the main thing was that even though it was an entertaining flick, it was just a little bit shallow. I mean, the whole plot was just bad guy needs part for a super weapon, crew needs to stop him, and that was really it. For me, I didn't feel there was a great deal of character development throughout the film. The main cast were kind of the same people at the end as they were at the beginning. You know, they didn't really have a great story arc or anything like that. Aside from that, I just kind of found the first half of the movie dragged a little bit for me. The second half, once the action really started picking up, it more than made up for it. It was the kind of thing that once you get to the end of the movie, you almost forget in a way that the first half was a little bit slow, because it kind of justifies things in the end. You know, it's the kind of thing that you need that build up to get to where you are, and so In a way, that wasn't too bad, but I did kind of find my mind drifting a little bit during the first half. But look, that being said, I definitely had a great time watching the film. I would absolutely own it in my collection, mainly because I have the first two, so, gotta catch them all, as the Pokemon people say. So aside from a slow first half and somewhat of a shallow plot, I had a good time, and I'm gonna give Star Trek Beyond a 7.5 out of 10. So thank you guys for watching my review of Star Trek Beyond. I'm about to go and see Lights Out within a matter of minutes, so I'm quite looking forward to doing a review of that one. In the meantime, let me know what you thought of Star Trek Beyond. Drop me some comments either here or on Facebook. All my social media links are in the description below because I like to talk about movies and I would love to talk about movies with you. See you soon.
Hey you there. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Click subscribe. You see the big word up the top that says subscribe? Well, click on it! Click on it now! Do it! Yeah!